Welcome to another episode of Garage Topics. Today, we're going to fix up the S2000. There's a couple ghetto parts on here which we need to make not ghetto by putting in fresh, crisp, new parts. That's the way we roll. We roll Club Duty fresh 24/7. This is going to be good. I got some other things we got to talk about too. This winter is going to be really cold. All right, let's go. Let's go over some housekeeping items before we get into the S2000. One, I made some small upgrades to the garage, make it look a little bit better, make the lighting a little bit better because I had the lighting from the previous garage and this garage obviously is a lot bigger, so I wanted to increase that. One, I can see better. Two, it makes the videos look a little bit better, I hope. Two, this garage does not have any insulation whatsoever. At least the last garage had insulation on the attic and then the walls, and it actually had a vent coming in from the house, so it was tolerable to work in during the winter. This garage, it's freezing. I bought a Club Duty thermometer that will tell us exactly what temperature it is in here. There's no 240 volt electricity out here. I've read a lot about those electric ones working really well. That's not an option. Some of the gas ones work really well, but apparently they add a lot of moisture into the air and rust things prematurely. I might think about that. Or I might just run some small heaters and freeze my ass off. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to be in the garage as much as I was hoping to, just wanted to soup up the S2000. But I'll get in here every time. It's Virginia. The weather fluctuates a lot. Shameless plug time. It takes a lot of time to make videos and it's cold as crap out here, but I do other car stuff as well. So I'm trying to take better, high quality pictures of cars instead of just doing phone stuff. It doesn't work. It doesn't look nice. I don't like looking at it. I'm trying to take my camera out more, get better at photography so I can share stuff on Instagram and Facebook as well. Be sure to check those out. Look down here for the links. Not 100% done cleaning up. I suck. Probably should do that. But these are all parts. 99% of them are for the S2000. I think it's kind of fresh. It's a combination of new parts, used parts, and I have more coming, which is great. But we gotta start actually putting some of these parts on the car, so let's do that today. Let's go over some fresh parts. This thing is straight out of Japan, brother. JDM AF. 1, 2. These are the clear markers that go on the side of the S2000. What happened is, you might recall seeing it in my washing video. The sponge actually broke this off. It's pretty common in S2000s that the side markers, the plastic gets brittle over time. It's almost a 17-year-old car, so can't really complain. These clear ones were the cheaper option I could find. They're off the CR, I guess. I didn't really care if they were clear or amber, but we'll see if they grow on me or not. I got the amber bulbs too because these are clear markers, so they need the amber bulb to make it orange. Should be pretty easy to install. Second thing, brand new box. Brand new, fresh from the factory. As you can see, I'm joking, this is a US shipping box. This may cause some controversy or interest, thoughts, whatever you want to call it. Reading through the forums and reading online makes me a little bit dumb sometimes when it comes to car information. I couldn't get any conclusive information whether or not the cold air intake or short ram intake was better than the stock air box. My conclusion is that the stock air box did a really good job. You shouldn't really mess with it too much unless you want to do some custom ram air situation or something. Mine didn't come with the entire air box, just the tube and the filter. And I don't like how it flaps around, and I don't like how it just sucks in air from the header. So I decided I was going to find the cheapest used cold air / short ram intake I could find. I found one. These are pretty common, so I'm glad I got it. I've never had a K&N branded intake. Got the short ram FIPK intake. It's got everything I need. Guy included everything. It's even got the filter. This one's kind of cruddy. It's all bent up, so I probably won't use this one. I'll use the one that's in there. It'll fit in the box. All the hardware, and specifically the box, which apparently is supposed to mount up, press up against the hood to not have that much hot air coming in. I got some extra hoses as well in case we needed them. This only set me back, I think, like 120 shipped or something like that, so that's pretty good. You can spend upwards of $1,000 on these intakes, and I just don't think it's worth it. It's gonna sound cool. My main concern is not gonna be flapping around, and it's not gonna be sucking up all the hot air. Enough blabbering, let's go put them in. The clip broke, so even if I put it in, it doesn't stay, it just pops back out. So we'll replace this. It's pretty easy. You just simply, from what I've read, since it's already out, you don't have to mess with anything else, just unscrew the socket from the lens bit. Then you have this. Since this is a clear light bulb, we have the clear marker, so we need it to be orange, so we're gonna swap this out for an orange bulb. But first, we're gonna make this thing fresh. I'm gonna quickly clean this up to get rid of all that gunk. Just good old spit shine. Probably would be encouraged, but it's gonna get rid of all the gunk. We'll fix this when we do a full detail. Don't worry that I only clean my car with spit. Although it is pretty eco-friendly, if you ask me. Turns out that Honda doesn't care about aerodynamics. They must not like racing or people or having fun. It's easy to know the orientation when you have the S2000 badging, but I don't. Curve bit, which you think would be aerodynamic like a spoiler or something, is the opposite way. Maybe it's like a plane trying to take off. We gotta open up the other one now. Why is it so dense? This thing could drop off a cliff and it would never be broken. This is the right one. The orientation is correct as far as the bit going to the front, but the curved bit goes to the back. We have the bulb. Oh no, it's stuck in here. This would be miserable. Get here. Son of a bitch. Get in here. All right, it's right here. Take the bulb out, set it aside for later. I just got some 194 oranges. Probably required some other number, but these will work just fine. I was thinking about doing LED, but then you gotta worry about them flashing differently and stuff like that, so remember, focus on what your goal is, then go after what part you need. Orange bulb back in. The clip goes to the front, so this goes in here. Make sure that seals good. That seals good, it's upright, and this should just clip right on in. Yep, clips in the back and then boom. This JDM one is slightly smaller than the orange one, so you can see the outer marking. I'll worry about that when we do a full detail, but for now, it's not moving anywhere. On the other side. This side, it's not broken, obviously, it's not going anywhere. But as remember, it pushes towards the back, the clip that holds it in is on the front, so push it forward. Oh, never mind. This one just snapped, so there's that. So we'll take it out. Golly, I can't believe that broke. And it appears as though, weird. This one was on the opposite way. Unless it's the exact same part number. Maybe they've broken before. Because this one, the flat bit's facing forwards, not backwards. Who knows? Alright, we got a spit shine, that's all I do now. Spit shine. Spit shine. Club Dirty Fresh. If this was a show car, I would not be doing this, but there's big dents right down here, so it's fine. Yeah, that one was on wrong. That was not, it had two of the same side. It had two of the, I guess, left ones on this car. I'll have to Google that to see if the forums know what's up. Remember that clippy bit you want to put in last. You want to get the back end first, then boom. I don't know if I like these or not. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of these or not. Maybe because I'm just not used to it and it not being amber anymore. I guess it looks okay on the white. Let's take a look from afar. I will give it this. It looks a lot better than it dangling out. I'm not used to it being clear though yet. I think it'll look good though when we do some more mods. Next visual mod, I think we'll be fixing that damn bumper. I think it's pissing me off. Now we've got those clear markers on, let's get that fresh intake in. Before throwing this in, I'm just gonna give this a quick clean. I'm just using a rag and some water for now. We'll make it super fresh later. That's clean, these are clean. These were pretty gunky. This, I'm just gonna lightly clean. I've got big plans for this in the future. If you have a thought what I might be doing. Yeah, looks like a tab snapped off here from what it looks like. That sucks. Like I mentioned before, everything I do with this S2000, I do it in video form, so I have not touched this engine bay yet. The red coolant hoses, although they're Mishimoto and new, I'm not a huge fan visually. They'll stay for now because I don't feel like replacing them, but it's a little cruddy. Changing out this intake though, from my standpoint, is gonna be super easy because I don't have to mess with any of the boxing of the original intake. It's just the tube, it's a couple hoses. Since it has some of the vacuum pump delete kit, less hosing as well, so it should be a breeze to put on. I have just a couple of hose clamps to take off. You can use an 8mm or just this Phillips head to take that off. This wiring looks like it might be in the way. I've taken this off before. This isn't even held on with anything. So if I tug it hard enough. Boom. That one's off the valve cover. That can stay on here for now. What else is going on? Is that really it? It might be. So I've got this loose off of the intake. Let's see. Wobble off. Oh my God. All right, that was the easiest removal I've ever done in my entire life. Since this is off, I'm just curious how dirty it is in here. A little bit of dirt in here. I'll clean that some other time. First order of business will be to install this on here, which is like a rubber coupler. It'll reduce it from the intake down to the tube. I'm pretty particular on like it all aligned and fresh. Is that slipping that way? That feels pretty big. It's probably the other way. Yeah, it's that way. Yep, so I'm gonna line that this way so that the screws are easy to access later on down the road. Make sure this is loose here. Make this as loose as possible so it doesn't get in my way, in my grill. That's on there. I'm not gonna tighten it yet because I don't know what I've got in store for me in the future, so as far as the rest of this installs. Now, let's add this bitchin' tube. And I'm already seeing parts where we're gonna have to take some off the old intake to make this work because I do have a custom setup, bro. Alright, so this goes in here. Boom. Alright, I'm gonna tighten this a little bit so it's not just flopping around everywhere in the wind. Like a big old floppy black hose, you know? Alright, a little less floppy. Cool. Next up, we want to add this hose from here to the new intake. This one is too small from what I can see. Let's step down. I'm not sure. Will it fit? Does not look like it will fit. This hose, I believe it should be the same size. It's stepped up in some spots. I bought new hose in case it didn't fit, and it doesn't look like it will. So let's slip some new hose on. Let's make sure this fits first before I do anything else. So this one didn't have a hose clamp on it because it was so tight before. This one I know should fit because I measured the inner diameter before buying it. Alright, so that slips on the valve cover just fine. Obviously this is too long, so we'll trim it. How well does this fit on here? Oh yeah, that slips right on. This is 1/2" hose, 1/2" vacuum hose, I believe. So I'm gonna cut this up so it looks JDM AF. We'll cut it to right about there, which means I bought an extra foot. So buy 2 feet just in case, but in this scenario of the K&N intake, you probably only need 1 foot. I want it to be like that, so I'm gonna make a cut right there. These are some garden shears. I don't know if this will work or not. We'll find out together. A fresh, straight cut. Oh man, that worked really well. Use garden shears to cut rubber hose. Man, that's tight. It's tight, son. I'm gonna trim that up some more. All right, that ain't going nowhere. That looks JDM AF. This one here, I'm assuming hooks up to a vacuum somewhere, but since I don't have that anymore, there's a cap on the old intake, so I'm gonna take that off and reuse it. So this is the stock intake. This is the cap I was talking about. It has that JDM fresh zip tie holding it down. Club dirty. It's not even black too. Come on, bro. Gotta make this stuff match. I got the old one off the other intake, just putting it back to how it was. It looks a lot better. It'll look better with this black zip tie too. Probably use a clamp of some sort. I'm gonna hide the end bit at the back. Hide to the bottom so the JDM haters don't see that it's a zip tie. This one won't be white anymore. All right, that's pretty tight on there. If anything, it should be sucking it, not blowing. That's what she said. It should be trying to suck air out of this, so it shouldn't pop off or anything. So this is the only part that I'm worried about as far as me not knowing exactly what to do. It should be pretty straightforward, I'm hoping. This goes on like this somehow. I'm guessing down like this. Obviously this tube is what's gonna go through the filter. But where did these bolt up to? Not sure. So I thought installing this would make it easy without having the stuck air box. It in fact made it more difficult because a lot of the bolts were missing. There's a bolt down here that I'm missing that I don't have the thread for, so I'm gonna have to make a hardware store run. The one down here actually fit, so this is keeping it in place, but it's kinda got a little bit of a rattle. I ain't playing with that. Other issue is that this inlet size is the exact same as the stock one, so I'm gonna need to get a coupler to make that match up there. Or I can just simply clean this crummy one that it came with. I have a cleaning kit over there which is free, and it was to just mount on right like that, but it kind of looks small and I'm all about keeping it real, so I'll investigate that more. The S2000 for today at least is gonna remain ghetto. So what we're gonna do to fulfill that ghetto dream is to put this in here. Oh man, that looks great. I'm gonna take an Instagram pic of this. All right, if you follow me on Instagram, you know this is fake, so that's the inside of Scoop. Not Club Dirty Fresh. We'll fix that soon. And with that, I'm gonna use that as an excuse to make a part 2. That engine bay is disgusting, but part 1, we did make it a little bit less ghetto. These indicators aren't gonna go anywhere. So the second episode, we're gonna get those bolts mounted up in there correctly and actually clean out that engine bay, because I was just fooling around in there and I'm greased up and gunked up. So it's never been cleaned in 17 years. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep it real. Make sure you subscribe with your dog. Make sure your dog watches the channel. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good one.